What's going on YouTube? Durbador Weldor here, coming at you with another video. It is February, and it feels more like summertime for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but it feels really good. So we're going to take advantage of this day. I ain't got much work going on today, so I figure, going to turn downtime into uptime here. So I got some things I'm going to build. I'm going to show y'all. They're kind of prototypes, and we'll go from there on building them. So here we got my large Victor torch sitting here, and what appears to be some random scrap, but I'm going to show y'all that this is not just random scrap. So they make burn bars you can buy, they make circle cutters you can buy, but they are literally hundreds of dollars. Some if you get the complete kits, you're talking $1,000. They're cool, and I'm a gadget guy. I love my gadgets. But when things are slow and I'm decent at freehand, a couple homemade guides should bring me into a totally different category as far as how well I can cut stuff. We're going to go out here to our scrap pile. Now, I keep a pretty good amount of just stuff left over from jobs. Always order just a hair extra, maybe one extra piece just in case something goes wrong. And this is how you collect stuff like this. If you feel like a 4x8 sheet might be a hair too small, you get a 5x10. And then you get extra pieces like that to keep around for spares and all sorts of stuff like that. These are all drops from a structural job. They're all probably, these I-beams are probably going to get turned into a gantry crane. But today we're making a burn bar. Oh, there we go. Look at that right there. 1x1/4 flat. I can't even remember what I bought this for. Oh well, it's there. And then we got some more angle irons here. We can make several burn bars, but I'm only planning on making one. So the story of this goes, I was trying to find my original burn bar I made a couple years ago based off of Bob Moffat's burn bar that he made on weld.com. It's probably the simplest, basic, and easiest to make, and cheapest to make, because you probably have all the parts sitting around. So take all this off right here. We're talking about the burn bar at this point. It's very simple. You take a piece of 2x2 quarter or 3/16. He didn't say that, but quarter's preferred. Mine was made of 3/16, so it'll work. And then you lay a piece of flat bar on this edge right here, sticking out a little, for your standoff. And then you take some of this square stock here and make a little handle for it. Mine didn't have a handle, but it still did the job. Now I have a little bit more access to more scrap parts than I used to back in the day. So I can make more cool stuff. And I'm going to design it all to fit my big Victor. Because if I design it to fit my big Victor and I leave enough thread room to attach to it, it should connect to my small Victor setup as well. For the circle burner, I mean. The burn bar, it don't matter. Now, this is where I tell y'all it's gotta be accurate. You want to make sure that this is the same distance off the back on one side as it is the other. And get that out of there. There we go. Kind of hard to do with the camera, but you get what I'm saying. Because what will happen is, that ain't the same distance all the way around. You set this up and you try to square off of this edge for cutting something, that's going to be crooked. And we don't want that to be crooked. So we want to make sure that this to here is the same there and there. So I got this little piece under here just to keep that level with that right there. So now we can kind of see how the construction of this thing is coming together here. Now we can kind of see that this gives that flame a spot to go. And if you set the bottom of your torch right at the bottom of that right there, you got the perfect standoff and a perfect guide right there. And the cool thing is, you can flip this whole thing over upside down, and then it becomes a bevel cutting guide as well. So literally, yeah, this is it, and you just put some tacks on it. Now everything is nice and straight, and it's ready to be tacked up. And just to change things up, boom, I'm going to use my new to me Miller Thunderbolt I got for basically 40 bucks. I'm going to use this thing right here to put it all together because why not? It's like the easiest machine to use. You basically just plug it in, turn it on, and go. Hey, turn this thing off. God, a fan's annoying. Alright, and just like that, y'all, there you go. There's a burn bar. Now I'll take a grinder and I'll kind of clean up the burrs and clean up the edge and, you know, clean it up, and we'll throw some paint on it later. But there you go. You can attach a handle to it. I was actually going to put a handle on it, but then I kind of decided against it. I don't know. I'm kind of flip-flopping on the handle part. But, yeah, there you go. Burn bar, just like that. And when you need to cut a 45... flip it over, and now you got an edge. Not a 45, but a bevel on pipe, I mean. No, or not even pipe. Plate. Goodness gracious. Having some struggling with my words here. You can flip it upside down like this, and you have that. Or if you need to go a steeper angle, you have that right there. And this is now I remember why I did not put the handle on mine, was so I could do a steeper bevel if I need to here, or a lesser bevel here. Or I can lay it across here and do a bevel like so. So yeah, that's simple, guys. Alright, so I had a concept change. So I actually used this long barrel Purox, or what would now be called a Victor torch. I use this one more, and the 1-inch bolt wiggled around so much on this, I was like, there's no way that's going to be accurate to actually tighten down. So I'm probably going to have to build two of these. One for the large Victor style and one for the small Victor style. Which this torch being a long barrel torch, it still uses the small Victor tips. But whatever. So, how this is going to work. You can see all our parts are kind of laid out here. It's very simple. We're going to cut this right about here. That way you have room for our handle and everything. Cut it right about there. And we're going to weld this nut to this threaded rod right here. Goodness, I had a brain fart. Couldn't even think of what it was called for a second. Then we're going to drill a 5/16 hole in this right here. And that is going, then we're going to weld a 1/4 inch nut onto it. And then thread a 1/4 inch bolt through that nut to put tension on this to hold it together. This, or this, it don't matter which one. One of these will have a part of a center punch welded to it, denoted by this welding rod sitting here. It'll probably be this one actually. That way you can make tighter circles. But center punch is the most accurate thing to be putting on here. So I was like, I could get a piece of rod and I could turn it and all this stuff. I was like, no, just go get a little stupid cheap $5 center punch and weld it to it. It's a grade 8 bolt, so, you know, it should be just fine doing that. You know, center punch to a grade 8 bolt, they're both pretty hard. And then, what you do when you want to adjust everything is you thread this in and out to the diameter you want. And you lock it with this nut. You take another center punch, doink, put the center in the circle there, and then that acts your center, and you can just pivot the whole torch off of that. Alright, let's see if we can make this work. And that's the hardest part right here, is you gotta basically set this up, dry fit it, and eyeball it to about 1/4 inch of stick out, where your center punch is sticking out by roughly 1/4. And that should set everything just where it needs to be. And what you'll want to do is, if you don't have access to old used center punches, like I got some old ones, from a neighbor, you can just buy some new cheap ones. But trying to stay strictly budget, you know, just make a few phone calls. I'm sure you can find somebody's got some old worn out center punches. They don't need no more sitting in a junk drawer. So now we can see the design taking shape here. There's our center punch. There's where we bolt our torch in. There's our lock. I just took it over to the miter saw and cut it real quick. But yeah, you can finally see it starting to take shape. I'll tell you what though, I don't know what the hell is in that damn center punch, but it don't like being welded. It was nasty as crap. I don't know if it's just the AC or what, but dang. It's something else. But anyway, it's still perfectly okay for our purposes. So now we're at this part right here. We got to install the lock for the torch. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to hold it with those needle nose clamp pliers right there. I'm going to hold the nut right here. I'm going to slide it in like so. Tack it in place. Because it's so small, we're going to switch to 332/60. Come on. 332/60/13 instead of the 1/8/60/11, because that's about as, welding that right there is about as that, and that's about as delicate as that 1/8/60/11 is gonna do. There we go, guys. Here we go, guys, the final product right here. Not the most beautiful thing on earth, but the plan was we're doing it with basic stuff. Ideally, MIG or TIG would probably be the best way to put this kind of stuff together, but I'm just showing you how simple this is, and it can be done with anything. And I realized halfway into welding all this, I probably should have been wearing a respirator because of the nickel. And that stuff is, that nickel coating's really bad for you. So y'all may want to wear a respirator when welding this. Or just be in a nice windy spot. Which I'm pretty much, there's plenty of airflow coming through the shop here. So it's not the end of the world. But still may want to wear a respirator or put a fan out there. Because this stuff's nasty to breathe in. Here, let me hook it up to the torch. And there we go. That's what it looks like mounted. Alright. Now, you see how this works? Like so. And then you just kind of pivot the torch like so. It cuts circles. I'll have to set some stuff up here in a second. See that right there is why I had to build another truck. I had to build my own truck because my 150's being used by my crew for other jobs. It's like, so when I want a truck, it's like, oh, they got it out on this job. That's why I built the 350, because I knew eventually my business was going to get this busy. I need to have another truck. There we go. There is a circle. I think the torch is set too high, and for whatever reason, I don't think I have that tight enough. It kept popping on me. So I don't think I had a tip in there tight enough. So I'm going to have to check and make sure all that's tight like it's supposed to be. Maybe use a little bit of Teflon tape. And I was way too hot. But I think y'all get how that's supposed to work. A little time in tuning it. And before y'all freak out, that gas can's been empty for like 6 months. Don't worry. I just forget how hot that torch runs. But yeah, straighter-ish. Pretty straight for a torch. I mean, if this was 1/2 inch instead of 3/8, it'd probably be burning just fine. But simple as that. So there we go, guys. Simple builds that anyone can make just with some basic stuff sitting around a shop. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And you guys have a fantastic day. Here y'all go, guys. This is what it looks like painted. Just throw some blue rattle can Rust-Oleum on there, just so as it's sitting in the box, it's not rusting up my other tools.